Welcome to the Employee Network Group presentation. My name is Edward Gonzalez. I will be walking you through this short presentation on the benefits of this new ability to group people together, and hopefully it will help your business out in the long run. The first question you might be asking yourself is, what is an employee network group? Well, it's groups of employees that they are able to join together while they're at their workplace, either based off their shared characteristics, their life experiences. We can even make it into smaller groups if you would like to, and so that way they can actually talk amongst themselves, be able to provide support, and hopefully enhance their career development. This is a great way to network people together, because not only would you have these individual groups, but these groups could have the ability to network with another group. Maybe you might have all of your engineers in one area and need to interact with your customer support line. Well, this ability to be able to say, okay, so we're going to have all the males between 30 and 35 into one group. So now you have, engineers, your HR development, you got your customer service reps, all being able to talk about issues within the company and be able to promote those abilities across the board there. In the past, these groups have been traditionally focused on personality traits. So, like, you would have just women or a certain religious affiliation, sexual orientation, but we can actually generalize it a little bit more and broaden out the spectrum, so that way there's more benefits in the long run. Of course, when you are doing this, you want to make sure that you're not alienating anyone and giving the employee the ability to maneuver between the different groups. So, what other companies are using this capability? Well, yeah, according to Forbes magazine, it was reported in 2011, almost 90% of Fortune 500 companies were utilizing these kinds of network groups. Companies, like American Airlines, Anheuser-Busch, AT&T, New York Times are using it. The Walt Disney Parks and Resorts is probably the most famous, as they've actually had interviews done on their campus, and we've actually seen them work very successfully between them. The key part about being able to utilize these groups is to have a strong management group to be able to, have suggestions being made and being able to have some sort of resource group to be able to utilize during this time. A lot of the companies began to privately fund their groups as well, which was really nice when that actually happened, since companies would be able to utilize all the tools that they had in-house instead of having to resource out that information, and gave a nice positive image for their group. There's a much larger list of the companies that have been using this for a while, but it's cool to actually see that this is a very working atmosphere there. We've already kind of hit on some of the benefits of the employee network group, but as listed on this slide, you do see a lot more. The ones that a lot of employees enjoy is just a support mechanism, being able to have common stories, experiences, and maybe able to be delivered a resolution. A lot of time in the workplace, when you have an issue, especially on the customer facing side, you have no way of reaching out and talking to somebody about that. So with the ability to have that common story of saying, when I was dealing with this customer, I had XYZ problem. Well, then the engineer that made that product can say, well, that's an easy solution. All you need to do is this, and now they actually have some sort of resource to go off of. They can go back to the department, share that outlet, and then it's widespread across your center at that point in time. Of course, there is a professional development that comes from that, a little bit more of a responsibility level as well. And It helps them to learn, more about their job and where the job is going, while also in turn, it gives them a chance to have like the mentoring aspect. They are able to go to workshops together, and they are able to redefine your company and make it a lot better. It does help promote equality, but I think, while the biggest aspect here is that they're able to be more satisfied with their job, and they get to know their company has an interest in themselves as well. So the employee itself stops having that feeling of just being another number in the crowd. There are some disadvantages to the employee network group. Sometimes there is a strained relationship with upper management. The fact that you are sharing common stories, you might start saying common stories about things that have changed with inside of upper management, maybe even some issues within the relationship itself across multiple stages, and so you have a rift between the employee relationship and upper management. Um, while other times they might not actually share information between other network groups because of competition. So one department might be trying to get a certain project done, or so that way they can get this new project that everybody's been wanting. And so instead of helping out each other, they'll actually compete against each other, which would hurt the efficiency of the company at that point. And then sometimes there's a little bit of hurt feelings among employees that are not willing to accept the new groups. With that, that would just come as some more management tools to be able to show the benefits of these groups and how they can work across an entire spectrum. As you can probably tell from this presentation, my highest recommendation would be to go ahead and try this implementation of the employee network group in your company. There are so many benefits, and we've seen it work with so many different companies, and it hasn't been one size company or another. We've seen it work in small, big, and even your medium-sized companies. As you saw in the companies that have been using it, it's not also been one type of company. We've had breweries to newspaper companies. We've even had organizations that just deal in supplies, office supplies, that sort of thing. So it's always good to try something new, especially with this. The benefits of being able to have your employees talk to each other is second to none, and you can allocate a certain amount of times that they can do it, or they can even have maybe a resource center online that they can have like a discussion forum. There's multiple different ways you can implement this to help save efficiency within your company. Thank you for attending this short presentation. If you have any kind of questions, please direct them to your local HR group. Hopefully this gave you enough information to be able to make a sound judgment. There are more information if you do any kind of searching on the internet for these groups. They will be very helpful to you in the long run.